Hey, LinkedIn learners. How are you today? It's a Monday. It's a cold and rainy Monday here in the UK. Do please forgive my rather croaky voice. I went to a conference on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, and there was a lot of shouting lot of talking, and my voice has definitely has been an impact on my voice. So I apologise for that. Squeaky and squishy and all of those things. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about my voice. I am here to talk about LinkedIn content. Ooh, what shall I post about on LinkedIn? So I get asked that a lot. What shall I post about on LinkedIn, Sarah? I haven't got a clue. Don't know how to talk to people on LinkedIn. It's a funny old platform. Don't understand it. Do I talk about businessy stuff only? Do I talk about a bit of personal stuff? Is it like Facebook? Is it like Instagram? Do I add pictures? So much. There's so much that that can just scare you or make you feel a bit weird about going on LinkedIn and posting content. So I've written a blog about this, which is up on my website. I've also created the same information as a newsletter on LinkedIn. So if you're watching this and you'd rather or you'd like as well to have my newsletter, which is going to be about once a month, maybe every couple of weeks or something, then please head over to LinkedIn and subscribe to my newsletter. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, because then you can see my videos. Okay, so 5 content ideas to stop you stressing, because I know people do really stress about what on earth to post about on LinkedIn, and it's difficult. There's that's a big problem, is what shall I post about? And the other thing is, how much shall I post? Shall I post every week? Shall I post every day? And it's difficult. It's difficult knowing what to post about. It's difficult knowing how often to post. And the other thing is coming up with ideas over and over and over again. Now, I have no issues with what to post about on LinkedIn, because I have created a process. And what I do is I create these things called content buckets, which I've spoken about before. So if you ever want to know about my content buckets, do come and send me a direct message on LinkedIn, and I can talk to you all about them. But what I'm not here to talk about organizing your content today. What I'm talking about is how you can better post and what kind of things you can talk about. Okay, so one idea for a post on LinkedIn is to be personal. Scary, I know, because it isn't Facebook. LinkedIn isn't Facebook, and there's a lot of people that ask that question, that comment on, about LinkedIn becoming more and more like Facebook, as if that's a bad thing. Now, okay, we don't want LinkedIn to be like Facebook, or Meta, should I say, but people work with people. Okay, so it's really important that we do show ourselves, show our personalities on LinkedIn. Now, there's a degree to how deep you want to go with regards to showing your personality on LinkedIn, and everybody is different. Some people are very open on LinkedIn, and they talk about very personal issues and things that have happened to them in the past, things that are happening to them now, and other people are a little bit more reserved. The way that you're going to decide how personal and how deep you go on LinkedIn is your decision. That's entirely up to you. But the one important thing I would like you to bear in mind is your audience. So when we're on LinkedIn, all we want to think about is what our audience are thinking. So our audience are always thinking WIIFM, what's in it for me? That's what they care about. Yes, they want to know about you, but what they really want to know about is how you can help them. So always think about your audience. So if you think to yourself, okay, I really want to share something very deep and very personal on LinkedIn today, Think about how your audience would react to that. Would they react in a positive way? Would they support you? Or would they think, oh, no, I'm really not interested. I don't want to know about that. And I actually don't want to know about that person anymore. So have a good think about that before you post personal stuff on LinkedIn. One easier tip I can give you about posting personal stuff is to relate it to your work. So let's say you went for a lovely walk at the weekend. You can talk about your walk at the weekend, but talk about it in a way that perhaps it helped you clear your mind. You love going for a walk because it helps you focus on your work when you work. And relating it back to work is a really good tactic and on LinkedIn to keep your audience engaged. You can talk about how walking is good for exercise. It keeps you strong and healthy so that you're able to work better, that kind of thing. If you've got a meeting in a beautiful, beautiful restaurant, a work meeting, on Instagram, what you may do is take a photograph of your food. On Facebook, you may take a photograph of just you together, but on LinkedIn, you might take a photograph, a wider photograph of you with the people, but talk about why you're there and what you're doing together. Okay, so that's the first thing I advise when you're posting content onto LinkedIn is, be a bit personal. Another little tip I'd like to give you is you can answer questions that your clients ask you. So think about questions that you get asked by your existing clients about working with you, about the goods or the service that you offer, and answer those questions. So if you're answering questions before people ask them, you're really going to bring people closer to you. So you didn't come to me today and say, Sarah, I've got a problem with posting on LinkedIn, but it is a question I get asked a lot. This is why I'm doing a post about it, because I know it's useful for people who are using LinkedIn. Okay. Now, the other thing on LinkedIn at the moment, there are two things, actually, two pieces or styles of content which are getting very, very good engagement. One is polls. Now, there's a bit of controversy over creating polls on LinkedIn because what people are doing is they're slightly overusing polls because they're getting such good engagement, because they're very easy to engage with. They're a bit of fun sometimes, but they are being a little bit overused. So be cautious how you use a poll, but do use them because they do get your audience engaged. Yes, you can ask fun things, but you can also ask things to find information out about your audience. So for me, I asked a question a little while ago, is do you post on LinkedIn at the weekend? And the results of that poll helped me craft my LinkedIn strategy. So I realized that people are on LinkedIn at the weekend. So now I do post on LinkedIn at the weekend because I know my audience are there. So you can ask questions to help you in your work and help you better service your clients. The other type of content, which is getting really good engagement at the moment, is carousel posts, or sliders, as we call them. They're actually technically called document posts. So they're a PDF document. We'll call them a slider. I don't know, what we call them, sliders, I suppose, a PDF document with maybe 3, 4, 5, I would say up to about 12 different slides, and literally people can click on the slide and scroll to the next slide. So use those as well because they're getting good engagement, because they're fun to engage with, and people like having something to do and being interactive on the platform. So they're a useful tool for that. My advice with those, and I have written a whole blog actually about how to create them. So head over to my website and find that. But if you create sliders, don't put too much information on each slide because people can't read it because it gets shrunk down a bit. So don't put too much information on each slide. Up to about 10 probably is ideal. But using carousel post, document, sliders, whatever you want to call them, they're getting good engagement at the moment. Okay, so another tip, number 4, social proof. So social proof is when basically you tell people how good you are at your job. Is that a good idea? Hey, I'm a really good LinkedIn trainer. Yeah, I'm the best. I'm so good. Is that going to work well? Or is it better to say, look at this testimonial that I've got from a client. They've said I'm really good. It's a very good idea to do that. I'm going to ask you a question. Where do you go when you're on holiday? Where do you go to find out where to go for dinner? You might go to TripAdvisor, or you might go to your local or the local app, or you might ask somebody in the hotel or the apartment block where you're staying. It's about recommendations. When somebody recommends you, that person is more likely to want to buy from you. 92% of B2B business owners say that they are more likely to buy from a company after they've read a good review. And here's a really interesting stat, and I don't use stats very often, but this is a good one. People will pay more, up to 31% more, for something that's got a good review. So get those testimonials, get those reviews, and publish them as posts. And the last thing I want to say is position yourself as an expert. So talk about something in your industry that perhaps your audience don't know about. So tell them, show them the knowledge that you've got, because then that's going to instill their confidence in you to employ you. Isn't that brilliant? So here I am giving you some tips and tricks about LinkedIn. So I'm positioning myself as somebody who knows about LinkedIn content. And that's how I get people coming to me saying, Sarah, please help me with my LinkedIn content. Okay. So showcase yourself as an expert in your industry by talking about stuff that people don't know about, but you do. It's not showing off, it's helping them. It's giving them information that they didn't know existed. So there you go. 5 tips for you to create content to stop you stressing. I'm going to quickly run through. Number 1, be personal. Number 2, answer questions that your clients ask you. Number 3, use polls and sliders /PDFs/ whatever you want to call them, because they're getting good engagement at the moment. And number 4, post testimonials or recommendations as social proof. And number 5, position yourself as an expert. So there you go, my darlings. 5 amazing content tips for you to take away and create 6 actually, because if you count polls and sliders, you can create 6 posts, and you can use these ideas over and over and over again to create different content. I'm Sarah Clay. There we go. You can come and find me on LinkedIn, Sarah Clay, on my website, which is Sarah Clay Social. I'm sorry if you've just joined, but I am just finishing. But please watch this back. It's in my Facebook group, Learn to Love LinkedIn, where in fact I am holding at the moment a content challenge. So if you want to come and join my content challenge in the Facebook group, which is Sarah Clay Learn to Love LinkedIn, hop over and join the Facebook group, and all the information will be in there. It's been great chatting, and I hope if you found this useful, and I will see you same time next week, Friday morning.